Well, hello there. In today's episode of Needlepoint TV, I'm going to share with you how to anchor your thread when you're working in the diagonal tent stitch, also called basket weave. So we had a member of the Stitchers Club, I guess it was maybe a week or two ago, and when she was working on a project, she noticed that she had these tiny little holes every so often where she started a new thread or where she ended a thread. And the tricks that I'm going to show you today are going to be the kinds of things that you're going to want to do to prevent that from happening to you. So what do you say we get started?
Alrighty, ready to learn how to anchor your thread when working basket weave? So first of all, I want to make sure that I point out that the basket weave stitch is the diagonal variation of the tent stitch. So it's the tent stitch worked in diagonal rows. The official name of this stitch is actually diagonal tent, but it's gotten the nickname basket weave because it looks like a basket when you flip it over on the back side. So you can see that I'm beginning with my needle and thread. I've got the waist knot up here away from where I'm going to start stitching. You can see that I have my first stitch already in place way down here, and my waist knot is up here, and there's a reason for that. That's so that when I'm finished working the area that I want to work, I can then go back and clip off this knot and then secure the tail in the back of my work following the path of the stitches, because all stitches have a pathway, and that means the way the thread travels across the back of the canvas. So that's a whole nother I guess episode of Needlepoint TV, but I did just want to point out that I am using an away waist knot here. It's not an inline waist knot, which would be one that I would stitch over as I got to it. Alrighty, let's get started. You can see that I'm following the up the steps and down the poles. Anytime I have a vertical canvas thread on top, that means I want to be working down a row, down a diagonal row. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'm going to just be working this in a box or in a little square. That's the easiest way to demonstrate. So now that it's time to go back up the steps or go back up the row, I see that I have a horizontal canvas thread on top, and I know that I need to do a diagonal row that is being worked up the hill, so to speak. I'm using Vineyard Merino. This is a 100% wool thread, and I'm working on 13 mesh canvas. I'm not going to get full coverage on this canvas because it's actually too small, but I did this so that you could see the stitches as I make them. I think it's easier to see on larger mesh canvas when the thread is not going to quite cover. Alrighty, so I'm just going to keep on working. And now we're going to pretend like I am out of thread. It's time to anchor that thread. So I'm going to pull this out of the way. And now you can see that on the back side of my canvas, it does indeed look like a basket. The threads are crisscrossed. And to get myself in position to begin a new thread, what I want to make sure that I'm doing is I want to make sure that my new thread always starts following the pathway of the stitching travel thread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run under one stitch on several rows. So I'm going to bring my needle through, we'll back up one here, bring my needle through here, and I'm going to leave that little tail on the front. And I'm going to come down through, you see a couple of stitches. Actually, that's one too far. There we go. Down through a couple of stitches. And then I'm going to go across horizontally, because anytime you're anchoring a thread with basket weave, you want to make sure that you're anchoring your thread on either a straight vertical axis or a straight horizontal axis. And now that that tail is anchored on the back side, I can flip my canvas back over and begin working with the next piece of thread. So now I'm ready to pick up and continue with this stitch right here. So let me go ahead and bring my needle through to the front. And what I'll do while I'm working with this new thread, I have the tail to the piece of thread that I just finished. You can see it on the back side of the canvas. You can kind of see it through the canvas. I'm going to continue working these diagonal rows, and as I work these diagonal rows, what will happen is I'll stitch over that tail, and that will secure the end of that piece of thread. So I can just keep stitching along. And now as I get up here, time to turn around and come back down the hill, sliding down the poles. And that is how you start and end a thread in the diagonal tent stitch, also known as basket weave. Oh, and one more thing. I need to show you how to get rid of that waist knot and weave that tail through on the back side. So let's do this first. Let me clip off. I know that's kind of up out of the frame here, but I'm just going to clip that off. And now that that tail is clipped off, what I'll do is thread it into my needle using my handy dandy needle threader. So here we go. Get that needle threaded. And again, remember, I want to anchor the tail in either a direct horizontal or direct vertical manner. So the easiest way to do that is going to be to go down first, at least in this particular situation, to go down. And I still have that thread kind of in the way, but to go down and then to go across. Now I can either go this way or I can go this way. So, or I could actually turn around and go back up, which I think is going to be the easiest thing to do because that's going to show you how you can do a sort of a race tracking motion. So we'll just do a U-turn and go back up. And that, my friend, is how you tie off an away waist knot. Once you've done the final anchoring or weaving, then you just clip that off and you're good to go.
Thank you ever so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to pop in and see what today's Needlepoint TV episode was all about. So I hope you found these tips helpful on how to anchor your thread when you are working in the diagonal tent stitch, also known as basket weave. I will make sure that I link down to our website, or a link to our website down below. And I'll make sure that I also include the links to those blog posts about working up the steps and down the poles, because I have a series of blog articles all about that. So how to execute the basket weave variation of tent stitch with ease. So make sure that if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, make sure that you do that. Just click that little red button. And if you'd like to get notices, anytime we have a new episode uploaded or we go live, click the little bell too, and that'll make sure that you are all set and ready to go. Again, thanks ever so much for being here with me. I hope you have a terrific rest of your day. Until next time, happy stitching. Bye for now.